Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Aliyah Martin. In the headlines, fishermen to benefit from new tongue vending stall and washroom facility. $40 million regional hospital is being constructed in Marigot, and government advances international airport project. Details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. Fishermen of the Newtown community will benefit from a vending stall and washroom facility. The contract for the facility is in excess of $70,000. Octavia Prosper has more.
Parliamentary representative for the Rosa South constituency, Honorable Shakira Lokati-Pulit, says the new facility was much needed due to the poor conditions of the previous building.
We knew how the place looked like. The old public convenience was in a deplorable condition, and it did not augur well for the people of Newtown. We really have to restore pride and dignity in our people, and I think that the fishermen in the community, they welcome the project. They'll be able to sell their fish in a much better conditions.
The parliamentary representative says training sessions will be conducted for the fishermen to ensure that they are knowledgeable about fish preservation.
When you're talking about sale of fish, you look at the sanitization, and we will make available pipes so that they can, if they feel, to clean the fish for the people, and we'll also ensure that, because the fisheries is so close, that they sell the fish on ice, and will provide much needed training for the fishermen in that area to sensitize them on the preservation of fish and how important it is to preserve the fish, because these things can have effects on the consumer.
Honorable Hippolyte also expressed her thanks to the board of the Newtown Fisheries Cooperative for financing the newly renovated Fisheries Cooperative, which is located in Newtown.
Post-Hurricane Maria, the fisheries building was destroyed, and I want to say hats off to the board of the Newtown Fisheries Cooperative for using their funds to renovate their building, and I think the community today is proud that we have now begun operations, not fully, but the Fisheries Cooperative has begun operations, and we're now able to sell ice and to rent coolers to the public.
The parliamentary representative encouraged residents to take ownership of the projects. She says it is important to maintain a good working relationship with the corporation.
The fisheries, they are operating, but on a small scale. But I think with the help from the government and the PAL rep, and we're working together. And I think consultation is key. It's important for us to keep the communication lines open between the PAL rep and the fisheries cooperative, because it is the community's own. It belongs to the community, and I would really want the community to take ownership of these two projects. One, where the fishermen will be vending, and two, the fisheries cooperative building.
Meantime, Treasurer of the Newtown Fisheries Corporation, Edwina Prine, says the building will serve as a multi-purpose facility to fishermen and constituents.
Public convenience was here before. It was an eyesore. It was a breeding ground for rats. So we are very happy that this was able to be destroyed, and we can now have a more aesthetically pleasing space for the fishermen to be able to sell their fish and vend and so on. And it will also complement what the fisheries is trying to achieve in terms of helping the fishermen as much as possible. So this can be the area where they can get their ice, set sail, anchor their boats, sell their fish. It's a one-stop shop for the fishermen of the community. The public convenience area will also serve for the less fortunate of the community. So this will just boost the entire surroundings and the community as a whole.
Contractor for the new tongue vending stall and washroom facility, Sherlock Robinson, gave details of what the facility will entail.
4 vending stalls with its own water supply, drainage system, makes it easier for you to clean it up, and the washroom facility that I can tell you at the back of it.
Acting City Clerk of the Roseau City Council, Mr. Thomas Baptist, says he is pleased to see the commencement of this project.
The Roseau City Council really didn't have the funds to do any sort of renovation works in respect to the facility. And so as part of the Roseau South constituency parliamentary representative, Honorable Shakira Hippolyte, in her campaign promise to the people of the Newton constituency that some work was going to be done in respect to the refurbishing, or in fact making the area a little bit more conducive. And so to eradicate the old structure, of course, which was an eyesore, and to build a facility, which can cater for the needs of the people of the Newton area. So we're quite pleased with that undertaking.
Octavia Prosper for the Government Information Service.
The government of Dominica is fulfilling its promise to the people of the Northeast with the construction of a $40 million state-of-the-art Northeast Regional Hospital. Minister for State in the Ministry of Finance, Honorable Gregory Riviere, says he is pleased with the progress of the construction of the hospital, and the structure upon which completion is in April 2021 will represent the commitment of the Dominica Labour Party administration to the people of Dominica.
I want to thank in a very special way also the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica for keeping to its promise. This, of course, was an election campaign, and at the end of the day, sometimes people say, well, elections is over, and people forget about people. But we saw the commencement of this project just about less than 90 days following the general elections. And since then, we have seen progress. We have had quite a number of visits. The Prime Minister came in a couple of times. We have had a number of site visits. And today we are here standing on the second floor. And we had an opportunity earlier to go to the roof, which means that the full structure has already been completed.
Minister Riviere says the construction of the hospital has brought significant employment to the constituency thus far. He also stated that the role of the contractor was not only to create employment, but also to train persons to become skilled in various fields.
One of the things that, in terms of the relationship between the contractor and this community, his role wasn't only to create employment, but it was also an opportunity to train young people to take advantage of other opportunities that are going to be derived in this area. So take, for instance, people who came in here, never knew anything about steel, right now can do enough steel work to gain employment in the new housing complex that's going to be starting in Wesley very soon, where we're talking about 80 housing units. They also are in a better position to take advantage of the opportunities in the housing, the apartment building that is going to be built at Woodford Hill. And they are prepared to take advantage of the opportunities that are going to come up as a result of the construction of the brand new international airport.
Minister Riviere stated upon completion, the hospital will provide a host of services.
Now, this hospital will provide a wide range of service. And everything, and I say everything, that can be done in the new Dominica China Friendship Hospital can be done right here in Marigat. On this floor where I'm standing, we have 2 operating theaters. We have a recovery room. We have maternity ward, and I saw about 3 maternity wards, which means that the people of Marigot, the people of Wesley, Woodford Hill, and Kalibishi, they have to put themselves in order. They have to put themselves in order because we have 3 maternity wards. We have 3 children wards, each accommodating at least 5 children each. We have 3 female wards, 3 male wards. We have a whole dental section. We have dialysis.
Minister Riviere impressed upon the need for people to become trained in various fields as the hospital will bring significant employment to the Northeast.
It's amazing the amount of services that is going to be rendered at this hospital. And I am only looking forward to the operationalization of this hospital, where we can see massive employment. So we need people to get trained. And nurses, we need doctors, we need lab technicians, we need security because we have a whole area for security section. We need people to start to get into the fire service. So there's going to be massive employment.
The government of Dominica has launched a cybersecurity awareness campaign deemed Get Safe Online. The campaign was launched via a Zoom meeting on Thursday, October 15, 2020, and was attended by numerous stakeholders, both local and international. Minister for Public Works and the Digital Economy, Honorable Kasani Laville, says that as digital economy starts to evolve, cybersecurity can be a risk if not managed properly.
It seems clear from the diversity of the panelists in the various sectors represented here this morning that cybersecurity runs as a common risk factor if not managed properly, as technology and digital innovation continue to impact our world in a manner never foreseen. Even a decade ago, a small island developing state like Dominica and even the other islands of the Caribbean must position themselves to take advantage of the digital economic transformation in a highly competitive global environment. Critical to surviving in this digital environment is the development of high-capacity broadband networks in a secure and highly resilient infrastructure, digital skills development and capacity building in cybersecurity, application development, and all other digital technologies are fundamental for economic sustainability in the new digital era.
Minister Laville says that to safeguard the country's data, cybersecurity must become a pillar of the digital economy.
Cybersecurity, therefore, becomes a key pillar in the economic transformation process in order to safeguard a nation's critical information and infrastructure. Understanding the many risks associated in securing one's information infrastructure is compulsory in the new environment. Cyber criminals are intent on causing economic and personal havoc to governments, businesses, organizations, and our citizens, including our children. So therefore, understanding the many risks associated with this digital environment is a must for all citizens, from parents and guardians to teachers, public and private professionals.
The Digital Economy Minister says he is pleased to be associated with the cybersecurity campaign as government moves towards building a robust digital economy.
It has become even more critical that students and citizens be taught the many subtle means of seeking to gain one's trust honor in an effort to cause harm to persons, network systems, businesses, enterprises, and government services by cyber criminals. I am therefore extremely pleased to be associated with this important cybersecurity awareness campaign, particularly in the context of Dominica's online process to transform our digital economy.
Meanwhile, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for telecommunications and broadcasting, Honorable Oscar George, says cybersecurity should be given the same level of attention as physical spaces.
The government of Dominica has embarked on a strategy aimed at strengthening our telecom infrastructure to support the drive to digitally transform the economy with the aim of enhancing access and fostering greater opportunities. Lately, we have seen an increased presence of the average citizen online, and this has led to an increase in cyber threats. Addressing this issue has become mandatory in ensuring Dominica's ability to remain resilient and competitive. We believe that online is becoming a way of life, and safety on the internet should be given the same level of attention as physical spaces such as homes and workspaces.
Minister George says government has initiated a cybersecurity strategy which forms part of government's plan to develop a secure and resilient telecommunications sector.
It's against this backdrop that government has elaborated a national cybersecurity strategy which forms an integral part of our overall objectives of developing a secure telecom sector that is resilient, though not immune to cyber threats. We acknowledge the fact that critical information infrastructure must be protected to create an environment of trust and security for online transaction and services. To this end, we have advanced multiple measures to build the country's awareness and to enhance online safety. As indicated by Peter Davis, we recently launched the Get Safe Online website, which is a leading source of unbiased, factual, and easy to understand information on public safety. This resource provides practical advice on how to protect yourself, your family, your finances, devices, and workplace against fraud, identity theft, viruses, many other problems encountered online.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment has announced a new case of COVID-19. This now brings the total of confirmed cases to 33. National epidemiologist Dr. Sholadin Ahmed says the case is an imported one and is asymptomatic.
We have one more new case since our last press briefing. So this brings total confirmed cases to 33. The new case is a 58-years old female who returned from Guadeloupe on October 4th, and she had a valid negative PCR result prior to coming to Dominica. She was admitted to the quarantine facility on arrival as she returned from a high-risk country. She was confirmed as a positive COVID-19 on October 12 through PCR testing during our routine screening procedure on day 5 of her arrival. Currently, she is asymptomatic.
Dr. Ahmed says there is no community spread of the virus.
So in summary, as at today, the total number of confirmed cases are 33. Total active cases are now 4. 0 death. Only one contact of the recent case is under investigation. All other contacts were tested negative. All cases are import related. Presently, there is no evidence of community transmission. All at this time are asymptomatic and doing well.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. Dominica joins 150 countries across the world in observance of World Food Day, today October 16, 2020. In light of the current worldwide pandemic, the day is celebrated under the theme, Grow, Nourish, Sustain, Together, Our Actions Are Our Future. This day is celebrated in honor of the date of the founding of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, of the United Nations in 1945, and as a call to fight against hunger. Minister for Blue and Green Economy, Agriculture and National Food Security, Honorable Fidel Grant, uses this day to highlight the importance of food and agriculture to the citizens of Dominica.
The State of the Food and Security and Nutrition Report in the world tells us that the total number of undernourished people in the world is increasing. More than 820 million people are going to bed hungry. They, unlike us here in Dominica, are unable to access food and clean water at zero or minimal cost. This year, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to focus and ponder deeper than before on the importance of food security and the access to nutritious foods for all.
In the month of March, the Ministry of Blue and Green Economy, Agriculture and National Food Security and the government of Dominica ensured that all citizens had access to food and that no one would fall victim to hunger to the worldwide COVID-19 pandemic. Backyard gardening programs were successfully implemented, providing thousands of vegetable seedlings, promoting healthy diets and balanced meals. All of this in an effort to develop healthy lifestyles for all in Dominica.
Under the World Bank funded Emergency Agriculture, Livelihoods and Climate Resilient Project, $65 million is being injected into the agricultural sector. Efforts are afoot to contribute to the restoration of agricultural livelihoods and enhancing climate resilience of farmers and fisherfolk. Building back better has been our motto.
The government of Dominica is making strides towards the construction of the international airport, which will be constructed in the northeast of the island. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, recently met property owners of Woodford and Wesley to hear and discuss any concerns associated with the construction of the airport and the process of acquiring the land to do so.
You must be commended for the spirit with which you have been engaging the state on this matter. And I can tell you, when we recognize that we are in a state where we can build this international airport, we engaged an independent international firm to come into Dominica and to advise us independently, professionally, where in Dominica they believe would be best suited to build this airport. And they looked at every area, including Portsmouth, as a location, because I wanted to ensure that the decision of where to build an airport, a project of that nature, should not be politically driven.
Prime Minister Skerrit says government selected one of the best firms to identify the best location for the international airport, and upon completion of the study, the Wesley and Woodford areas are selected.
I went to America, and we selected a firm from the United States of America. But not any firm, a firm that has had experience in Dominica, in the Caribbean, and in many parts of the world. This is an undisputedly reputable entity. We did have a meeting here sometime last year, and we spoke about the international airport. Obviously, we could not have spoken about land acquisition because there's a process by which you go about acquiring this property, and I wanted that process to be respected. I wanted us to be very clear as to which areas we're going to be acquiring and whose property will be acquiring and so forth.
Prime Minister Skerrit informed that government has begun the process of surveying and recently 26 slots were surveyed.
We want to give you the assurance, my friend, that one, we understand the sensitivity of this, and two, we will try to be as facilitated as we can be.
The nation's leader says government has concluded negotiations with some property owners who were satisfied with what has been offered by government.
There are people who have concluded the negotiations, they are satisfied with what the government negotiators have negotiated them, and they have signed off on their negotiated price. They present, and you know how the negotiation goes, you have been part of this before and so on. So let's just say to you that, and of course, those of you who would like your home swap for home, when we know who it is, then we can share with you the designs of those homes, the floor plan for those homes, so you can appreciate the type of homes and the quality of homes that will be built for those who like home to be swapped for home and so forth.
Prime Minister Skerrit says a support mechanism is being put in place for landowners which may suffer from psychological traumas as a result of the loss of their lands.
We are in fact putting a support mechanism in place to provide that kind of psychological support to families. As I said, you know, I study psychology, I study human behavior, so I know what you're talking about. Okay, and I understand the emotional aspect and so on. This is why I said we've been very careful, very sensitive to this particular challenge.
Meanwhile, the people of Hood-Fordil are to benefit from the government's housing program. The project will see the construction of 30 apartment units at a cost of over $12 million. Senior Minister and Minister for Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Reginald Austri, believes that the housing project will be a great achievement to the people of Hood-Fordil. Minister Austri says that Dominica is truly blessed despite the worldwide pandemic, and Dominicans should continue to be grateful.
I just saw something from CNN where the American police are now knocking on people's doors and distributing them eviction letters. Because of COVID, they lost their jobs. They could not pay the rent or the mortgage or whatever you want to call it, and now they've been evicted. Whereas in Dominica, a small economy, this government can afford to be giving people homes when the Americans are taking homes away from people. What a contrast.
Parliamentary representative for the Wesley constituency, Honorable Fidel Grant, encourages residents of Hood-Fordil to use this opportunity to create new services.
So as we know, up that area we may not have a grocery shop. That is now an opportunity for somebody to create employment for themselves and their family by adding a grocery shop and whatever necessary services, because in itself it will be a hamlet up there. So it's a very nice design. You will see the design later on. So what I'm urging persons to do is fill out the necessary forms, apply, and then we will take the necessary steps in terms of the selection.
Dominica observes Chapeau Pie Day on October 16. GIS visited some government departments and schools to capture the patriotism of many.
It's a day to showcase our local arts and to bring an awareness of the goods, the crafts that are being made by our vendors, supporting local, and it's a great day.
So far, I think that in spite of COVID, a lot of people are still wearing their, madras, They're still wearing their chapeau pies. A lot of people are still, you know, feeling the season in spite of everything.
This Creole Day, I find a lot of persons are going all out in the celebrations and all of this despite COVID-19 and all what we're going through, we're resilient. You understand what I'm saying? So we're not going to make that hold us back or make us feel like, you know, independence is not here. Independence is here and we should be celebrating independence.
It is an opportunity for the boys to embrace their culture, especially during the COVID time. In the absence of all the cultural activities that they are used to, it's an opportunity for the students to not necessarily miss out, but to still feel that they can celebrate their culture regardless. And we always focus on resilience, so we are resilient people. It coincides with our social studies curriculum because right now our focus is patriotism. So the students get a chance to understand their culture, and not only in terms of food and dance, but also in dress and things like the chapeau pie, to show that we are also a creative people and creativity is part of our culture.
And now your weather update. A mid to upper level trough will continue to affect the area during today. Scattered showers and thunderstorm activity are expected across the area, while a relative reduction in activity is anticipated by tonight. People in areas prone to flooding, landslides and falling rocks should continue to exercise caution. Meanwhile, a tropical wave is projected to move across the island chain by late Saturday. Moderate seas are expected during the next 24 hours, with waves peaking to 7 feet. Small craft operators and sea beavers, particularly on the eastern coast, are advised to exercise caution. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, as well as on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I am Aliyah Martin. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.